Greetings, everyone. How's it going? Yes, the music stand is back. Woohoo! A lot of you were asking, what happened to the music stand? It's like, I don't know, I just didn't feel like using it for a while. It's just I like to mix it up once in a while. For this one, however, I don't think these would fit on the video shelf very comfortably, without flopping all over the place and damaging them horribly. Yes, comic books. Comic books, and lots of them. I have really been getting back into comic books lately and having an absolute blast. There's some really fun new stuff out recently, and some great trade paperback collections of some, good old oldies. So I've been just going nuts with the comics lately. So I thought, hey, I should probably do an update about them and show you what all I've been getting. So that's what we're going to talk about. New additions to the comic book collection today on the Multimedia Chronicles. Welcome back. Well, first up, this is a particular series that I'm probably going to wait for the obligatory trade paperback collections. I looked at the shelf and just saw how much stuff is coming out for this, and I was instantly overwhelmed. I was like, wow, there is so much stuff. I have no idea where even to begin. So, yep, gonna wait for the trade paperbacks. I really want to read it. I've heard it's actually quite good, and they're doing a really good job of it, but man, there's just so much stuff. It is completely overwhelming. I'm, of course, talking about Marvel Comics and their decision to destroy the entire Marvel universe from top to bottom, including every conceivable multiverse and alternate universe and popular storyline from the past that has ever existed. The Secret Wars. Yes. So this is a special edition. This is actually a free edition of the of Marvel Preview, which is kind of like the modern version of Marvel Age, where they give you a look at... in this case, they're just giving kind of a breakdown and some mini preview pages of the first few parts of the Secret Wars saga, and just give you a taste of it. So pretty cool. And then they also put out this, which is this freaking massive... This is like a full, proper Marvel preview issue. This is a freebie that they were just giving away to give people a taste of the Secret Wars coming up. But this gives you the complete breakdown of pretty much everything. This is just massive. So I just wanted to pick these up just to get sort of an idea of what they were doing. Like, obviously, I'd heard about this big event that they were doing, and wanted to get a little bit more information about it. And man, it's huge. Like, it is the biggest crossover, multi-title event they have ever done, without question. Plus, I was always a big fan of the original Secret Wars. Like, I actually have the original 12-issue run of the very first Secret Wars from back in the mid-'80s. And I always liked that. It was just a fun, mini-series event with every superhero in the Marvel Universe in it. And then, actually, I guess the first one didn't have them all in it, but it had all the main ones, like all the big famous ones. And then they had Secret Wars 2, which was my first experience with a crossover event. It was a 9-issue limited series, and every month there would be several issues of the regular Marvel Comics going on that would cross over with it. So in that case, I picked up every single crossover and every single issue of the main series. So all told, the entire Secret Wars 2 saga, including all the crossovers, was about 40 comics, which at the time was huge. This puts that to shame. Like, I have lost track of how many freaking comics there are in this Secret Wars saga that it's just nuts. It's nuts. It is interwoven mini-series and big things happening in the main series. And basically what the whole idea is, they're kind of doing what DC did a few years ago with the New 52. Basically, they're just eradicating the entire Marvel Universe. So they're revisiting a lot of the more popular storylines from over the years from a fresh perspective. They're revisiting a lot of other things. It's like an X-Men 92 comic, which is based mostly on the animated series and stuff like that. They're going to have like the new universes coming back for it. They got a Civil War storyline for it. They got like the Marvel 2099 universe in it. it just goes on and on and on. Like pretty much every major thing you can think of from the Marvel Universe is being touched on in some way in this massive event. So, but as I say, I mean, I took a look at the Marvel rack at the local comic store, and it's just like Secret Wars, Secret Wars, Secret Wars, Secret Wars, Secret Wars. There's just so much Secret Wars stuff that, like, where the hell do you even begin? Even with these guides, where do you begin? There's so much stuff. So yeah, I'm just gonna wait for the trade paperbacks. I just want to kind of get a flavor for it with these preview issues, and it looks spectacular. And from what I've heard from other comic fans who are checking it out, it's apparently surprisingly good, like a lot better than what they were expecting it to be, and just a massive event of fan service for Marvel fans from across the ages. Yeah, and then after that, apparently they're canceling every single comic in the entire Marvel line, like all the Marvel Universe ones, and starting them all over again with issue number 1. So it's going to be a whole new saga from there. So the whole Secret Wars event is going on over the course of, I believe, 8 months, so a good chunk of a year. The main series is 8 issues, and then there's a whole bunch of other intertwined miniseries that tie into it. So good luck keeping track of it all. I'll be waiting for the trades. All right. So next up, I heard about this, and I had to get it because both Rosie and I are huge fans of Weird Al Yankovic. And when I heard that he had taken over as guest editor for Mad Magazine, well, that was a no-brainer. I had to pick that up. So this is just absolutely fun. It's basically in the same vein as when he would take over like MTV and Much Music, but in this case he's taken over Mad Magazine. So there's like a whole bunch of stuff that's very Weird Al oriented. Let me see here. Yeah, so we even have like a big massive thing of him at a concert, and so just about everything in here is Weird Al oriented in some way. Even have an ad for his Mandatory Fun album in there. He's certainly unashamed when it comes to self-plugging and whatnot. So pretty cool. We got the obligatory movie parodies in there. We got American Sniping and stuff like that. And then even the Mad fold-in on the back is a Weird Al fold-in. So that's pretty cool. So anyway, really, really fun stuff. Love Mad Magazine. Love Weird Al. This is actually the first Mad Magazine I've picked up in probably 20 years. But I always liked Mad Magazine as a kid. To me, this was always sort of the edgier humor magazine. I know there was Cracked as well, which is kind of its direct competitor, which I always found the humor a little bit softer. That has since changed, of course, because now Mad Magazine is still much as it always has been. However, Cracked is now more the website. Like, I don't think they even have a magazine anymore. They got Cracked.com, which is a little edgier than the magazine was. But anyway, love Weird Al, love Mad Magazine, so this was a no-brainer. Really, really fun stuff. Next up, some individual comics I picked up. There's been some pretty cool licenses floating around out there, some of which have been done by IDW. IDW seems to be the king of licensing stuff and doing awesome comic books about it. They have had a great run with stuff like the Transformers and G.I. Joe and Ninja Turtles, Ghostbusters. I mean, they got tons and tons of licenses. I think they're even doing... I don't know. They're just doing so much stuff. They got Star Trek as well. They're doing a bunch of new Star Trek comics. So there was a few that that kind of caught my eye. Some licenses that were kind of unexpected, and I thought, hey, cool, yeah, I'll totally check that out. First off, we have Galaxy Quest: The Journey Continues. Now, this I gather is a mini-series because I picked up the first 3 issues. So this is issue 2, and then issue 3. Very nice. So I gather it's a miniseries because the end of issue 3 says to be concluded. So 4 issues for now, I guess, maybe just to see how it does and then determine if they're going to continue from there. But basically this takes place more or less in the same amount of time as it has been since we have seen the movie. So it takes place several years later, and it's the continuing adventures of all the characters from the movie. Story-wise, I'm actually really enjoying this a lot. It definitely captures the same style of humor and tone of the movie. If I had one minor complaint, it would be kind of the artwork. To be honest, I mean the artwork is really good. I mean, as you can see. However, in terms of how the main characters are drawn, I feel like there's not enough variation between them. As I was reading, sometimes I found it hard to tell which character I was looking at because they all look very similar. So it would have been nice to see a little bit more variety. They didn't really go for likenesses of the actors from the movies, probably for rights reasons. But yeah, so it would have been nice to see a little bit more variation there. But story-wise, I definitely recommend it if you're a fan of the movie, because it definitely captures the same kind of flavor as the movie. Now, you knew I was going to pick this one up after my big rant about the god-awful movie trailer. I ended up picking up... I went to the comic store like the next day after doing that rant to pick this up. And sadly, they only had the second issue, so I picked up the second issue and just devoured it. And I thought, wow, this is how you do a modernized update of an old 80s favorite. And then I went back a little more recently and found that they had reprinted the first issue, so I was able to get the first issue, and they had additional copies of issues 3 and 4, so I was able to do that. So, what am I talking about? What else could it be? Gem and the Holograms, the comic book series, yes. Yeah, just as I had heard when I did the rant, I can now confirm this is freaking awesome. This is Gem, the way it should be updated. Love the art, love the style of artwork, love the and the story and how they've updated the characters. I mean, this is basically Gem for the the social media age. It's really cool how they've modernized it, but at the same time, they've stayed very true to the roots of the show and the characters, and made it very much something that fans of the original can enjoy, but at the same time, new fans can access without having to have familiarity with the original. This is how you do an update of an old property like this. I mean, this is fantastic. I mean. And it's something that I think guys and girls can enjoy, just like the old show. I mean, I'm a middle-aged man, and I am loving the new Gem comic, and reading the letters pages in the later issues, apparently there's a lot of other middle-aged men out there also enjoying the Gem comic, so laugh if you will, it's something for everybody. And then, of course, here's issue number 2. This, you notice the logo's all shiny. This is the what they call the plugged-in edition, which basically gives you the cover on slightly heavier stock, which is quite nice, and then the sort of hollow foil logo. So this is how the Misfits have been updated. Very, very cool. Really liking the new character designs, and the characterizations of them are very faithful to the original, while at the same time updating them with a bit of a modern sensibility. And here is issue number 3. So this is a 6-issue series initially. They're doing a 6-issue story arc. It will be reprinted in trade paperback form, I believe, in October, if I remember correctly. So there's 2 more issues to go. And then here's issue number 4. This is the latest issue at the time of this recording. Issues 5 and 6 have not come out yet. So this is the newest one. And there's, of course, Pizzazz, who is every bit as nasty as she was in the original series. So there you go. Gotta love some Gem and the Holograms action. So yeah, if that movie trailer left a bad taste in your mouth, pick these up. Seriously. Like, if you're a Gem fan, you will absolutely not be disappointed with these comics. They are fantastic. Or pardon me, they are truly, truly, truly outrageous. Alright, next up, this is something I didn't even know they were doing a comic book about. And then I found out that John Carpenter is apparently co-writing it, so how could I say no? From Boom Comics, we have Big Trouble in Little China. Yeah, check this out. This is awesome. I have been a fan of the original movie since it came out in theaters. I actually saw it in theaters way back in 1987. And this is such a treat for fans of the movie. I mean, it really captures the same kind of humor and all the supernatural elements and stuff from the movie. It's a direct continuation of the movie. In fact, the very first issue, if you look at that, picks up right where the movie left off. And there you go. And as you can see, story by John Carpenter, co-written by John, like co-storied by John Carpenter. Yeah, this is fantastic. I'm not going to show you too much. I want you to just get enticed and go out and buy it. There are trade paperbacks coming out of this, coming out of this as well. Each trade paperback will contain 4 issues. There's at least 2 volumes planned at this point in time. But yeah, Big Trouble in Little China. If you're a fan of the movie, like I am, get the comic. Again, this is absolutely just a blast. It is an absolute blast. I've been just blasting through these. I've only got 1 issue to go, and then I'll be all up to date. But this one took a few trips to get all the issues. They've done 12 issues so far. Love these painted covers, by the way. They don't do the painted covers for all of them, but these also do have alternate covers as well for most of the issues. They have at least 2 or 3 variations. So if you like to collect multiple covers, you can collect multiple covers. Myself, I'm not big on that. I just sort of pick the one that appeals to me the most and go with that. And in case of these ones, it was definitely these beautiful painted covers. Yes, of course, as you can see there, bit of a spoiler, Lopan does come back, but did you really think he was going to stay dead? No, of course not. Got to have Lopan. He's the ultimate nemesis for good old Jack Burton there. So that's issue 6. And we have issue 7. But this is great. I mean, all the characters from the movie are back. We have we got Jack Burton, we got Wang, we got Egg, we got Lopan, we got the ape thing. We've even got the elemental guys make an appearance in there as well. How is that possible? I thought they were dead. Well, you'll just have to read the comic and find out. Because, just as I think Big Trouble in Little China is something that lends itself really well to comic books, because it was a very comic booky adventure to begin with. I mean, it was meant to be very, that type of, sort of tongue-in-cheek adventure and stuff like that. And in this case, they did go for likenesses. You will definitely recognize slightly cartoony style. I mean, this style here is the style of artwork in the comic itself. And it actually works really well. I think I really like the art style in this. And in this case, so you have Wang there, and you have Egg there, and then Lopan menacing them in the background. But, really cool stuff. And I love the fact that it picks up right where the movie left off, because that is a cliffhanger that has been hanging over us for the longest time. And, John Carpenter is directly involved with these comics, so that is awesome. There's also a series of Escape from New York comics put out by the same studio. Those are next on my list. Just seeing what a great job they did with Big Trouble in Little China. I definitely want to check out the Escape from New York comics as well. All right, so that is it for the individual issues that I picked up. Quite a pile of stuff there, and I've just been inhaling them. I mean, I've rediscovered the joy of reading comics again through these. I mean, the trade paperbacks are great, and I've read quite a few of those over the past couple of years. Like, for example, I read all 7 volumes of the original Transformers comics, many of which I'd never read before, and that was just freaking awesome. Simon Furman, man. I can see why you guys are so gaga over Simon Furman. He was a freaking amazing author. Alrighty, so, next up. Last but most certainly not least, picked up 3, count 'em 3, trade paperbacks. A couple of continuations of some sets that I've been building, basically picking them up more or less as they come out. Picked up Volume 3 of Green Arrow. Now, this is, of course, more issues from Mike Grell's legendary run on the series. Just great, great stuff. I'm glad to see this volume actually contains 8 issues rather than the 6 that the previous 2 volumes have had. I hope that's a trend, and we're going to see more and more issues. Mike Grell did a total of, I believe, 80 issues of the original series, so it would be great to get a complete run of those. I'm really hoping they carry on doing them. So this contains issues 13 through 20, so we're a quarter of the way there. And I did check on Amazon. There is a volume 4 already planned, so rest assured there's at least one more volume coming. So please, for the love of God, will everybody buy these as soon as they come out, because I really want to see the rest of them get a release. Plus, it's just really, really great storytelling that you will not be disappointed by. This is the gritty urban Green Arrow that is my favorite incarnation of the character by far. This is Green Arrow fighting drug dealers and muggers and just really nasty and like serial killers and stuff like that, like just really bad people here in the real world. You won't really see any supervillains in this. This is as if Green Arrow was, in the real world fighting real world crime and corruption and stuff like that. I think that this is a big inspiration for the current incarnation of Arrow, on Arrow. Definitely one of the inspirations anyway, because I mean the TV series takes a very urban approach to a lot of it as well, and this does too. And the other thing I always liked about this, I've mentioned before, is that this is Green Arrow without the trick arrows. It's just him getting back to basics and using his skills as an archer to fight crime, and it's really good stuff. Now, whereas Arrow has him younger and sort of finding his path, as it were. This is Oliver Queen after he's been Green Arrow for quite a long time, and he's basically middle aged, and it's probably why I enjoy it now, because I can relate even more. But but really good stuff, much more adult storylines. In fact, this was one of the earlier. This is when some DC Comics started to carry the recommended for mature readers banner on the covers. It was around the time that they started introducing their Vertigo line and stuff like that, but some of their non-Vertigo titles had mature readers banners on them, and this was definitely one of them. This was definitely not the Green Arrow for the kiddies. So check this out. You will not be disappointed. Start from the Longbow Hunters, though, and then read them in order, because it is a continuing story, and the Longbow Hunters is technically the beginning of Mike Grell's run. Alrighty, so next up, had to pick this one up. I still need to sit down and read it, but I kind of wanted to wait until I got the second volume anyway, so I could read the entire run in one go. Picked up the second volume, which is actually the concluding volume of Dan Abnett's run on Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, this is the series that the movie was primarily inspired by. This was like the big one. If you enjoyed the movie, you'll see a lot of familiar elements in Dan Abnett's run, and this is largely like the big reinvention of the Guardians of the Galaxy and such that we're all familiar with now. But anyway, his run ran for 25 issues, so this is issues, I believe, 13 through 25. Yeah, 13 through 25. So this is the latter half of the series. The first volume contained the first 12 issues, and you may recall I picked that one up a while ago. But just beautiful, beautiful artwork in this, I have to say. Like, I mean, just look at all the detail and everything is just freaking gorgeous. Just beautiful, beautiful stuff. And I love these Marvel editions. I mean, the Marvel editions tend to be a little bit pricier. This was $38.99, but that's because they print them on this just beautiful glossy paper, and everything looks just perfect. These are really, really nice quality editions that any trade paperback shelf should be honored to have gracing it. Very, very nice indeed. And then last, but most certainly not least, even though I have a complete run of this on in the form of the original issues, it's nice to have a compact edition that I can read and that has everything together and beautiful remastered color and some nice little extras as well. Picked up Volume 1 of, what are they calling this? Oh, it doesn't even say. Just the complete collection of Howard the Duck. Yes, this is the original comics from back in the late 70s, early 80s, written by Steve Gerber and illustrated by quite a number of artists. Mostly Gene Colan did the artwork in most of them. There was a few by Val Mayrick and Frank Brunner as well, but mostly Gene Colan. But just a brilliant comic book. Forget everything you think you know about Howard if all you've ever seen is the movie. Read the comics. You will not be disappointed. This is one of the first non-comedy comics that I found myself laughing out loud reading. Just a brilliant satire of modern living and just the trials and tribulations of modern life as seen through the eyes of an alien duck. So, as you can see, the color has been beautifully restored in this. It's just fantastic. And I'm going to get nice pictures here. Yeah, so we have, for example, issue number 3, Master of Quack Fu, which you would... Now, here's a perfect example of what makes Howard the Duck a very special and different kind of comic. Master of Quack Fu. I mean, you look at that cover, and you look at that title, and you think, oh, this is going to be just a total cheese fest. This is anything but a cheese fest. It's basically a direct parody of Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu, which was a big popular comic at the time. But the story in this is just gut-wrenchingly emotional in parts. It's really, really phenomenally well written, and that sort of exemplifies what makes Howard the Duck so brilliant. Is it can turn on a dime, going from gut-bustingly funny to bitingly satirical to scathing social commentary to pathos to heartfelt emotion. It just jumps all over the place and takes you along for the ride. Such a freaking brilliant comic. Steve Gerber really was one of the greatest comic book writers of the Bronze Age, and so this is a great edition. It includes what does it include? It includes issues 1 through 16 of Howard the Duck. It also includes the first annual. It includes the story from the Treasury edition that was put out, the big oversized edition, which I also own, and also includes his first appearances in Adventure into Fear number 19, Man-Thing number 1, and Giant-Sized Man-Thing numbers 4 and 5. So every single early appearance up to the 16th issue of the comic book. So a wonderful way to start, get your feet wet on Howard the Duck and experience all of his early adventures in beautifully remastered form. And all things considered, considering how thick this is and how many issues are in here, again, $38.99. Yeah, but you get so much stuff in here. I'd say this is almost twice the amount of material that you get in the Guardians of the Galaxy edition. The only difference is the paper isn't quite as glossy, but it's still very, very nice. Yeah, I highly recommend getting this. I would think there's only going to be one more volume. The original series ran for 31 issues. Then a few years later, they did a 32. And then a few years after that, they did a 33. Then there was the movie adaptation. And then that was pretty much it. So I would think that Volume 2 will include the rest of that stuff in it. I don't know if they're going to reprint the black and white magazine, which ran for 9 issues. Maybe in a Volume 3, who knows. But most fans don't consider that one of the better versions of Howard. Most fans are all about the Steve Gerber run, the original monthly color comic. So there you go. Read till your eyeballs fall out. I'm sure I've said that before. Well, I'll probably say it again, because I'm getting old, and I forget when I've said things. So I repeat myself a lot. So read till your eyeballs fall out. Alrighty. That is it for this ridiculously long comic book update. Well, it's been a while since I've done one, so why not make it epic? So I'd just like to take a moment to thank my Patreon sponsors. Thank you, Patreon sponsors, especially my highest level sponsors, Kyle Pellegrini and Get Your Gorgeous On, run by Michelle O'Toole and Simon Hedger. Thanks, guys. You guys are awesome. Yeah, so consider becoming a Patreon sponsor. It's awesome. All the cool kids are doing it. You know you wanna. Alrighty. That is it from me to you for now. So until next time, thanks for watching, and sayonara.